Tonight on Raw, Randy Orton teases a possible face turn. Jerry Springer shows up for a very talked about segment. And Bret the Hitman Hart gets his leg crushed in a car door. Right here, right now, it's your Raw review from Big Al and the Kick-Ass Wrestling Show.
What you want? What you want?
Bret the Hitman Hart showed up. First thing he said was that Vince McMahon was not there. He was not in the building. And then he told us that because Vince McMahon would not accept his challenge to fight at WrestleMania, he was going to go home. He was done. I guess that's all that it took for Bret Hart to give up his quest, I guess, to beat up McMahon or find closure or whatever had started the whole angle. I thought this angle started really well, but it sort of fell off track tonight. I didn't like how it started. Bret Hart's whole, I'm going home, Vince McMahon isn't going to wrestle me. I was hoping for one more good WrestleMania. I didn't like how that began. And then it got even worse when his leg was crushed in a car door. He was getting into the door to leave Raw. He was finished. And a lady, I guess, just backed up and crushed his leg, smashed the car and crushed his leg. And it was poor acting, terribly done. It was one of the worst segments I've seen in a little while. We began Raw with a possible tease of a face turn for Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out in his match with Sheamus, and they had a good match. That was the best match of the night, in my opinion. And I give Sheamus credit. He's stepping it up as far as in the ring goes. Legacy comes out, and they get Randy Orton disqualified again when they interfere in the match. And once again, Randy Orton lays them out. He RKO's Cody, and then he RKO'd Sheamus when Sheamus tried to come out of nowhere and get the best of him once again. And there were RKO chants. The crowd was into it. Randy Orton needs to go face. I like it. This is a good idea. That's the direction they should go in because he's already popular. And he's, like I said, you guys know, I think he's the most charismatic. He's the best thing in wrestling today. So I think a face turn would be good. He's very popular. And they should match that with a Cena heel turn. I'd like to see that. How about that for WrestleMania? Orton versus Cena, except a face Orton and a bad guy, John Cena. That's probably not going to happen, but really that's what they should do. Anyway, I thought it was good that Randy Orton is going face. I still don't know what they're doing with this whole mess with Legacy and Sheamus. John Cena and Triple H had a pretty decent match. Not bad, but nothing special and nothing we haven't seen before. Sheamus came out of nowhere for another dusty finish. Interfered in the match, and the last thing that we saw on Raw was Sheamus holding the belt over his head, and we're talking about Elimination Chamber. So I guess that's the hype and that's the build-up for Elimination Chamber. I don't think it was done very well. I don't like everything that they're doing with Sheamus here, with his title, and what they're doing with Orton. I like how they're turning him face, but I'm not so sure about all this mess with Legacy, and they don't need to just go and get that over with and get that finished already. Jerry Springer had possibly the most interesting segment on Raw tonight when he hosted sort of a little talk show of his, and he had wrestlers come out, and the segment was Most Intimate Moments. Diva Kelly Kelly came out and pretty much told everyone she was pregnant and didn't know who the dad was, and there were multiple suitors. We farted out. We started out with Santino, and after Santino came out and said he was the papa, we had some other wrestlers and some other people come out and said that they were, in fact, the father, including Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, a bunch of other people. Eventually, what ends up happening is, and I called this on my Twitter, Hornswoggle was the father. He was the last one out. He always gets the good punchlines and the jokes from the WWE. This segment was a little silly. It was a little stupid. But you know what? It was kind of funny, and I didn't mind it. I don't mind silly segments as much as I mind stupid storylines. And when the WWE has a stupid storyline, or a storyline that doesn't make sense, or wrestlers who are fighting for no real good reason, that pisses me off a lot more than when they're just silly or stupid or being funny. I don't mind that stuff, and I actually find that somewhat entertaining no matter what. And then they had a special appearance by Mae Young. She came out and was kissing Jerry Springer on the lips. So I thought that was well done. Overall, I didn't mind that segment. I'm sorry. I can't hate on it. I know most of you probably expected me to, but I actually thought that was pretty decent. Overall, tonight on Raw, I liked a few things. I like Randy Orton's face turn. I like that he could be turning into a good guy now. The crowd is behind him. That's a good move, and he might finally have some direction. Although I don't really know what the hell he's doing with Legacy. What's that whole charade about? And with Sheamus attacking everyone now. I don't really know about all that. I thought the Bret Hart stuff was stupid. I thought Bret Hart getting his foot caught in the door was dumb. And the Jerry Springer stuff was silly, but kind of fun and kind of funny. The ending with Cena and Triple H, Sheamus interfering, was just kind of a dumb way to try and hype up the pay-per-view that is ineffective. Overall, the creative is a mess. They really don't have any storylines that are worth writing home about, and it doesn't seem like they're really getting much done. On the good side of things, the wrestlers, for the most part, are pretty entertaining, and when they let them wrestle, the wrestling is pretty good. And some of the entertainment isn't bad, and the Jerry Springer segment was okay. So, although this Raw was probably worse than last week's for most people, this was okay for me. I didn't hate it as much as last week, because last week seemed like a total mess of crap that made no sense. So, for this Raw, I am going to give the grade for Raw a C-. Not as bad as last week, but still pretty bad. Creative is still a mess, and I don't know what's going on. With the big announcement that TNA Impact is going to be going live on Mondays. Every other Monday they'll be live, but they'll be on Monday every week from 9 to 11 starting March 8th. Monday, March 8th, it's going to be live. WWE now has to step up the competition, because if they keep taking craps like they did tonight, it's not going to work out well for them. This is going to be great for wrestling. This is going to be good for everybody involved, all companies involved. And hopefully it'll have them step up and pick up their game as far as Raw is concerned, because Raw, the last two Raws, have really been garbage. I'm Big Al. Thanks for joining us. This has been your Raw review. Good night, everybody. Come on.